Welcome everyone to another weekly tip from SHIFTLog. Today we're going to talk about SAP BNAC, a special application of BNAC. BNAC stands for Business Network and Asset Collaboration. It's designed to bring all the parties in asset maintenance like asset owners, service providers, OEMs into the same platform. As you all know, I'm sure, regardless of the industry, whether it's utilities, manufacturing or energy, there are specific operations within the assets like inspection where companies subcontract to third parties, specialist third parties. They come in and perform that specific task most of the time on regular basis. For this operation to work as expected by asset owners, I'm sure you understand the timeliness and accuracy of the information between the parties are quite important. Having said that, in my experience, a lot of SAP clients use traditional methods like emails and attachments to communicate between parties. The question is this the most reliable approach? Especially considering the seriousness and importance of these particular operations done by the third parties taking care of the assets. If not done on time, obviously that affects the reliability of the asset. Let's unpack this. An asset owner requires a certain piece of work to be done by a third-party contractor. So get that all into an email with few attachments and send across. The timeliness and how you construct the email depends on the person who writes the email. At the same time, on the contractor's end, that might get buried in a bunch of other emails in the inbox. So both the parties are waiting for information. I'm sure you can see where I'm coming from. But what does SAP BNAC has to offer here? Why don't we hop onto the system and find out? In this case, there are two parties involved. First, the asset owner or the asset operator. What you're seeing in screen right now is the asset owner's view. I also have a second window open for the service provider, which is what you're seeing right now. Let's see how information goes from one system to another and how seamless that is. Going back to asset owner's view, let's get into list of work orders and see what work orders are lined up for the third-party contractors to pick up. There are a number of different orders. I'm going to go and select something from the bottom of the screen, this particular work order, which is an inspection of distillation system. You see, this is the header of the work order and there are, the number says 4, which means there are 4 operations. I'm going to click open it. You could see that the basic work order information are given here. It has 4 operations in there as well. What I'm going to do now is start sharing this with my service provider. I get the chance to select my service provider. Say share. I can pick and choose what I want to share. So there are 4 operations. I can either send all of them or a selected operation. In this case, I'm going to send all of them. And also, I can give the necessary rights for the third party to read or write. The third party contractor is a specialist in this particular case, so I'm going to give a bit more freedom to go ahead and alter things if required. Let's go ahead and share this. If I refresh the screen, you can see that on the top, it says shared with one partner. I go into operations, it says shared with GSE, and that's the partner that I shared information with. Let's log into GSE's system and see how it all looks like. This is the service provider's window. At the top, you see in the bell icon, I have few messages. And immediately I can see that the work order ending with 128 has been received 1 minute ago. Now, if you picture this particular contractor and what they do, they might be providing services for a number of different asset owners. So it's important that they are alerted on a work order received from a particular company. That's what the system is doing here. Let me go into work orders and I can see here order 128 has appeared. Let me go into it. I can look at all these and there are a number of different things I can do, like asking for additional information, but for the simplicity of this particular video, I'm going to go ahead and accept all this work. So let me quickly jump back to asset owner and refresh my screen. Now you see that against each operation, it says the service provider has accepted the piece of work, and then the overall progress is shown in the work order as well. Let's go back to service provider's view. I'm going to go ahead and complete the first task. First of all, I'm going to put this in progress, which means the work has started. So that is also notified to the asset owner. We are back in asset owner's view now. If I go into bell icon, you see that there's a status change. At the same time, if I refresh this particular screen, I'm sure it'll indicate, at the top of the order, you see that one operation has started, 3 more in acceptor state. In the operation, the same information has been provided as well. Let's go back to service providers view. We are back in service providers view now. Let's assume the work has been completed. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and say, work has been completed, and enter the time confirmations. You have the option of attaching documents here, which means it could be photographs or any sort of document that the service provider has to fill as part of the work. I'm going to say I have work, actual hours is 4, duration 4 as well. I'm going to go ahead and submit. That has been done. So if I go a step back to the work order for the service provider, it shows that the work order operation is still in progress. Let's go and find out why. Flip back to asset operators window where you see this was the last status. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen back to operations. The operation is still in progress, and I'm notified that there is a time confirmation here. So I can go into I can click here or go into confirmations here, and then I can review the confirmation. Any information that has come through, any documentation I can review. Once I'm happy with it, I can select and say complete. So that means I have accepted the work done by the third-party contractor. That changes my work order status as in 3 operations still to be done and 1 has been completed. So this process can continue as and when the work record gets updated third-party provider, it's get notified automatically immediately to the asset operator. Let's quickly go back to the service operator and see how that reflects in their portal as well. Clearly, I have a message in here saying there's a status change. If I refresh the screen, service provider sees that the operation has been completed as well. If you compare this to the email approach I was talking about, night and day, right? I'm sure you can understand what BNAC brings into the table now when it comes to asset maintenance and asset operations, and how it supports a collaboration in the right way between service providers and operators. Hope you enjoyed the session today. If you have any questions, comments, please send them in. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.